Hi guys! If you are watching this video, I am going to assume that you have seen part 2 of my S.T.A.L.K.E.R Clear Skies playthrough and are aware of some of the issues I have been having. If not, this video contains spoilers, so you should go watch that first if you intend to. And before I get on with this video, please, all the people who are going to say, "Oh, I told you so, you shouldn't play Clear Skies, blah blah blah," save it. I do appreciate many of you don't want me to play this game. I got that, I understand, but I'm pretty damn determined to get through this game, pain and all. Although, at the moment, I'm not 100% sure that is actually going to happen. That is going to very much depend on the feedback I get here and my own feelings when I try part 3. Now, obviously the big elephant in the room are the crashes. You probably saw several crashes and you probably understand that is frustrating. It also ruins the flow of the video. I have been getting crashes in this game and nothing I have tried has fixed it, and I have tried everything that was suggested in the comments. The DLLs, the memory patcher, the compatibility mode, the administration mode, removing of the Windows update and so on. The only thing I've not tried is switching back down to DX9. I wanted DX10 because I wanted the full effects, the volumetric smoke and so on, but most of all because DX9 has terrible anti-aliasing, and I didn't like it. I am a real stickler for good anti-aliasing. I cannot stand when edges shimmer or look jagged, but especially the shimmer. When you get shimmering trees when you move, it annoys me. So that was the biggest reason I didn't want to drop to DX9. And I thought to myself, I will push through the pain barrier. I will accept 1 or 2 crashes and see if I can work through it. And in fact, in the first episode, I had a crash. I did have a crash in this area. And I cut it out of the video. I don't think anyone noticed it. It didn't really ruin the flow. And I've just got into the habit of making very regular quick saves so as to be able to recover without having to replay lots of things over and over and over. Part 2, different story. I couldn't cut those crashes out. There was no way. They were in points where it made it pretty much impossible to sort of time it out, fade it in and fade it out. I crashed. It happened a few times and it kind of ruined things more than a little, along with some other issues I'm having. The only option is to switch down to DX9, which I have done. You have been looking at the DX9 version of this game with the atmosphere mod since this video started. Still has God rays, and it looks pretty good. You probably can see a couple of lighting and shadow issues when moving backwards and forwards. You see it there on the building. Those issues are actually in DX10 as well, although DX10 with atmosphere seems to work a little better. There do seem to be more issues, but that could be because I'm looking for them. However, you probably notice it looks pretty good. There's very little anti-aliasing, the trees don't shimmer. They shimmer a little, but not much. And the reason for that is I have found some settings in NVIDIA Inspector that allow me to run 4 times anti-aliasing on objects and 4 times super sampling on transparencies. That's pretty intensive though. I've dropped a few things. I dropped the sun rays to low quality instead of high. It doesn't seem to make any difference. And it's made it so I can pretty much get 60 frames a second in this area. And I'm told this area is very intensive. And I did find the worst thing, if I had all settings set to max, I would get 50 frames a second if I stood here. For some reason this was the worst spot. I'm getting fairly consistent frame rate, I think. I think I'm getting 60 frames a second even here, and that's with these settings. So it looks like I can play this game with DX9. A few things are missing, as I said, the volumetric smoke and a few other things that would have been nice are missing, but I still think the game actually looks pretty good with the atmosphere mod. And I'm willing to play like this, because it was only the aliasing that was an issue, the shimmering trees especially. And some of you are probably going, "Oh, it doesn't bother me that much." You probably wouldn't have seen it that much in the video. Believe it or not, edge shimmer does not come through in videos, but I can tell you one thing that I have learned through experience. The more edge shimmer you have on trees and grass, you don't notice it as much on grass, but it happens and the video picks it up, the more problems you have when you render and encode videos. So for example, if I was moving around with more edge shimmer now, you would see even more pixelation. I mean, my recording doesn't like tons of foliage anyway, and YouTube hates it. As soon as YouTube gets like trees and things like and grass, it doesn't like them. If you move a lot, you get a lot of pixelation. But when you have lots of edge shimmer, it makes the pixelation worse. This is probably because the image is changing so much. You know, whereas here, the tree doesn't shimmer as much. The one I'm looking for at the center doesn't shimmer as much, and therefore the codec has an easier time of compressing it. When it shimmers, it's like the image is changing rapidly. The codec has issues. So believe it or not, it does actually have an effect on the quality of my videos. Anyway, if DX9 does not crash, and so far from my testing, it's been solid, I can play with DX9 and carry on and just ignore it. I mean, the first S.T.A.L.K.E.R game was DX9, I think, anyway, so, and this looks great. The second thing I want to talk about, in a way, is more important, and that is the difficulty of the game. Because it wasn't just crashes that were causing me problems. I was getting killed an awful lot. Now, when I played the first game, I did die on the first mission, 'tis true, and I made a bit of a mess of the first mission, also true. But I kind of felt like it was a learning experience, that first mission. I kind of felt like I learnt a little bit about how to play the game. I learnt how useless the starting weapons are, for example, and they are equally as useless in this game. I couldn't hit, you know, that stalker there, forget it. I would have to be about, oh, here's a better example. If he was here and I had the pistol, I might be able to shoot him from there 3 or 4 times out of every 5 if I'm stationary, aiming, maybe crouching with the pistol. If I was about here, I almost could give up trying to hit him with that pistol. I'd forget headshots. The only way I'd get a headshot with that starting pistol was maybe if I'm there and the spread isn't too big. You can see the bullets flying off almost, well, not sideways, but you get the idea. So, you know, I learned that that was an issue, that I needed to get better weapons if I wanted to take them out at distance. I learned that, especially in the early days with the shotgun sawn off, the trick was to sprint to cover, pop out, shoot them, sprint to new cover, because they did a fairly good job of flanking you in the first game. You know, try and take them out as they move, constantly be looking around for new areas to dive to. So if they get too close, you know, if there's a guy coming from here and a guy coming from here, I'd crouch here so that this guy couldn't shoot me, and then I'd quickly try and shoot the guy here, and then, you know, run off to the next point of cover. I was learning things like that in that first mission, and although I made a mess of the first mission, I felt like it was a good way to learn the game. I felt like I was a better stalker after that mission. And that's how I felt through the entire game. I went through the game and I approached the zone with a lot of respect. Some people even complained at how slow I was, and that's fine. But I went through the zone, checking each area. I would take out my binoculars or sniper rifle. I would find all the enemies, and I'd come up with plans. I would come up with plans, and I would use the terrain to my benefit. And I had to, because frankly, the enemy could take a lot more bullets than I could. I get shot twice and I was in trouble. I could shoot them 3 or 4 times and there were no problems, unless I got a headshot. I mean, the game changed for me once I got the silent sniper rifle. I can't remember what it was called, Vintard or something. Once I got that sniper rifle, my game changed. It took me a couple of goes to get used to the bullet drop, but once I did, my game changed. I was able to move around the zone with a lot more confidence. Anyway, that's another story. My point is I was expecting a brutally difficult experience. I was expecting to have to use cover a lot. I was expecting the enemies to be hard to kill. And I was expecting any encounter where I had 4 or 5 enemies to be really serious, like it was in the first game. And what actually happened is, when I went to the swamp, was there was very little cover. There was a lot of grass, but grass isn't cover. You can't see the enemy, but I got the feeling they could see you. I got the feeling I was visible. I am using an alternative that makes stealth possible. I'm using one of the alternative mods as part of the Reclamation project that makes stealth viable, but I still felt when I was in that grass I was vulnerable and they weren't. So the only things you could hide behind were these small rocks, slabs of concrete. There was one battle in a village that went a little better because there were walls and windows, but on the whole I felt very, very exposed. And I felt like there were tons of enemies coming from all different directions. And it was very, very hard to know exactly what to do, especially when it's your first time in that area. And it didn't seem to lend itself very well to learning. Or it required you to reload and start again, knowing, okay, that's a bad idea, let's go to the village and try this. And then, I don't know, I felt like I couldn't learn the game without dying, whereas in S.T.A.L.K.E.R I felt like I could make a mistake, run, recover, and then gain control of the situation. I felt totally out of control in S.T.A.L.K.E.R in Clear Sky, in that fight. And to compound it, not only did I feel like it was a very hard terrain to fight in, I felt like there were a lot more enemy. Like 10 times more. Just wave after wave after wave of enemy. There was no breathing space. There was no moment for, just checking out the terrain, figuring out what your objectives are, coming up with plans. It was all just like, run. I arrive in the zone and immediately I'm getting messages saying, we need help at the fishing village. And you're told you shouldn't ignore those messages. The Clear Sky faction will not like it. So you run off to the fishing village, or you run through a firefight and you have to help that firefight and still hope you get to the fishing village in time to save them. And if you do, whilst you're in the middle of that fight, there's another message. We need help at the gravel pit or something, or some tower, and there's all these other markers where you're supposed to go and help people. None of which are the ones on the radio. And you keep bumping into ones on the way. I mean, I was trying to run to the gravel pit and I found a tower and I had to help them take the tower because they were asking me to. And then we took the tower and I climbed the tower to try and get a better look of one of the objectives I'm trying to do. And another wave of bandits come out, wipe out my entire squad in seconds, and I'm up at the top, completely exposed. I'm up at the spot with a pistol. I can't take them out with my pistol or my shotgun because I'm too far, and I can't crawl down the ladder because, of course, they'll shoot me on the way down. It's like, okay, well that's me dead then. I'm going to have to reload. Luckily I crashed at that point. And that's what I got. I got this feeling of I either had to let all of the people in the zone die, and maybe that's it. Maybe there's my problem. Maybe I was supposed to just duck down, let the Clear Sky get wiped out. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to have done. I don't know. I figured not. In the first game, I was, with the people I started out with, I was friendly with them the whole time, and I helped them out. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe that was the mistake I'm making. Maybe I should have just let all the Clear Sky people die, gone on my merry way, looted all their weapons, and carried on. I mean, is that what I'm supposed to do? Because if not, this game feels ridiculously different to the first one in the way it's played and in its difficulty. And I'm not totally sure. Well, I'm going to say I'm not sure whether I want to play it, because I kind of want to know the story. But if it's just going to involve lots of pitched battles with 20 and 30 guys constantly coming in wave after wave after wave, where I'm just getting one and two shotted. I needed to use bandages every time they shot me, and I'm probably dying 5 or 6 times an episode. I don't think I want to play this on master difficulty. In fact, I'd be almost tempted to play this on easy difficulty, experience the story behind it. But then that removes some of the tension. I mean, one of the things that made S.T.A.L.K.E.R what it was this feeling of tension, the danger of playing on master difficulty made those encounters devastating. It made them dangerous. If I was attacking this place, I'd be crawling around here really paying attention, really. I mean, if I drop it to easy mode, am I going to be wandering around run and gunning? Because that I don't want. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the crux, the big problem. It's not the crashing now, because as you've seen, I've been playing for a while now and no crash. The problem now is the experience I had in that swamp was not one I enjoyed. And I doubt whether anybody enjoyed watching it. I probably did loads of things wrong. But if so, for the first time in a while, I'm willing to take a lot of advice on how not to fail so hard. Because frankly, at the moment, the way to do it looks like reload until you get it right. And I hate that. Reload until you get it right. Or, as I said, let everybody die. Loot their corpses. And if that is it, if that's the way of doing it, I do apologise for making this video, because I probably should have figured that out. I've only just figured it out now. I probably should have thought of that, but that's just not something I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to save them. They saved me, I wanted to save them. So there you go. Anyway, yeah, leave comments down below. Am I missing something? Is my game bugged? Is there something I can do? I mean, this is where someone's going to say, you should have used the complete mod, it would have changed all this, blah, blah, blah. Something like that, isn't it? And that's going to start off flame wars in the comments. My guess is this is going to be one of the most aggressive and flame-filled comment sections of any of my videos for a long, long time. Half the comments are going to be saying, told you so, don't play this game. In the meantime, I have started another Let's Play. I've chosen another game, a game that I was thinking of doing a Let's Play. It was sort of second. It came second to this game. It's a short game. I'm doing some of that while I'm waiting for you guys to respond. I've got to render these videos and upload them anyway, so I won't actually see your comments till tomorrow, so I'm going to get a few episodes of this other game recorded, so I've got some things to upload over my vacation, which is coming up soon. But that does not mean I have given up on this game. I do not want to give up on this game. I don't want to admit defeat. I wanted to play all 3 S.T.A.L.K.E.R games, and I want you to help me find a way to play it. I basically, if I give up on this game, it's because we've got no other options. So, comments, advice, hit me with it. Tell me I'm a complete noob. I mean, try and do it politely. If I failed really badly, if I brought all of that fail on myself, tell me what I did wrong and how I should have done it, and I will go back and, well, obviously I'll have to go back and replay it anyway. I crashed, so I have to go through the whole fight again anyway. So yeah, all right. I look forward to seeing your comments with some trepidation.